What if you could run your entire therapy practice using Google Workspace for a fraction of the cost of most EHR systems? That's exactly what I've been doing for years, and in this video, I'll show you how. Imagine opening one system in the morning and having your client records, intake forms, schedule, documents, email, and video meetings all working together. No juggling 5 different subscriptions, no searching for paperwork, no paying hundreds of dollars every month for software packed with features you'll never use. If you're a therapist who's looking for a simple, affordable way to manage your private practice, you're in the right place, and this video is for you. So let's get into it. This is Google Workspace for therapists, how to use Google Workspace for practice management and affordable EHR. So in this training, I'll show you exactly how I use Google Workspace to run my own private practice. We'll look at different Google Workspace apps and how they work together, what you need to get started, and some important things to know before moving away from paper files or expensive practice management software. By the end, you'll know whether Google Workspace is a good fit for your practice and what your next steps should be. So just a little intro. I'm Kelly Cahill, a speech-language pathologist. I've been in private practice for over 20 years. Like many therapists, I eventually became frustrated with paper files and expensive practice management software. In 2018, I moved my entire practice into Google Workspace, and after seeing how well it worked, other therapists started asking how they could do the same. That's what led me to create Workspace Therapist. Everything I'm sharing today comes from actually using this system in my own practice, not just reading about it. And before we go any further, just a quick disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer, and this isn't legal advice. What I'm sharing today is meant to give you ideas for managing your practice on a HIPAA-secure platform. Using these ideas doesn't automatically guarantee HIPAA compliance, and it doesn't protect you from legal action if you violate rules that apply to your state or your profession. You are responsible for knowing the laws that apply to you and for putting good practices in place around protected health information. Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about actually building this thing. So starting and managing a private practice, there's a lot of planning, obviously, that goes into opening the doors of a private practice. Insurance, licensing, your space, where you will practice, your caseload. But one decision that often gets overlooked and ends up mattering a whole lot is how you're going to manage your client documentation. Most therapists assume that means picking between paper charting or an expensive EHR subscription, but there is a third option, one that's affordable, HIPAA-secure, and paperless, and that is Google Workspace. So just looking at a side-by-side of Google Workspace versus other EHRs. Google Workspace. So let's see, most therapists already know their way around Google apps, so there's a very little bit of a learning curve there. You get real flexibility. You're not boxed into someone else's template for notes, forms, or reports. You build your system around how you actually work. It's HIPAA-secure, strong cloud storage, and it's affordable, starting at around $7 a month per user. When we compare that to other EHR systems and with paper charting, we see that, these new platforms often take time to learn. Documentation is often locked into whatever structure the software gives you. And paper, that is cumbersome, it's easy to lose, and hard to share securely with other professionals. Most EHR systems start around $50 a month or more, per user. And that $50 a month is on the low end. So Google Workspace can cost a fraction of what you'd otherwise pay without giving up the features that actually matter to a solo or small practice. Okay, so you want to get a private practice up and running. You'd like to use Google Workspace. So what are the steps? We're going to start first with talking about, in step one, how to actually get your business set up if you haven't done that already, and then get into the Google Workspace setup along with that. So getting your business set up, if you haven't done any of this yet and are looking to get started, to get up and running, the first step, step one, is going to be your business setup, choosing a business name, filing for your LLC or PLLC, and checking with your state on which of those would be appropriate for your profession. You'll want to do a search, for your business name. Make sure that the name that you're considering, let's say, is the domain name also available. So you'll want to just research that and make sure that you can use those names. Maybe you're interested in a social media account with that same name. You want to just search all of these areas and make sure that that name is available across different platforms and with your domain name. You will get your tax ID, open a business bank account. Definitely recommend that so you don't mix your personal and business finances. You'll want professional liability insurance and an NPI number as well. So step two, choosing that domain name. Once you have chosen that name, if you don't have one already, you can get one from places like Squarespace or Namecheap, Porkbun. You can search and see what the best price is and plan that fits your needs. So you'll choose that name, you'll buy the domain name, you can pay for that annually, and then you will own that. And with that, you will register for a Google Workspace account. If you don't already have a website, that's fine. And if you don't plan on making one right away, that's fine too, but you will still need that domain name in order to set up your Google Workspace account, because that's going to become the name on your professional email address. Step three is the email setup. You're going to verify ownership of that domain name and get your email address set up. Step four, you're going to sign that BAA with Google. This is the step that makes your account HIPAA-secure. It's non-negotiable if you're going to store or share PHI. And I'll walk you through how to do that in a minute. And step five, customize your Google Drive. This is where you organize your documents, set up client folders, create your intake forms, and customize your email and calendars. So I went through that kind of quickly. It takes a little bit to get through, but it's essentially just 5 steps. We can sum it up into these 5 steps, and you've got a fully functional paperless practice management system. So let's talk about HIPAA, because this is the piece therapists worry about most, and rightly so. First, of course, you need to use a HIPAA-secure platform, and Google Workspace qualifies. If you search HIPAA compliance with Workspace and cloud identity, just do a Google search. Google lays out exactly how their infrastructure meets HIPAA requirements. Next, you're going to sign the Business Associate Agreement, or BAA, with Google, and this is what makes your Workspace account HIPAA-secure on Google's end. You'll find it in your admin panel under Legal and Compliance. You simply review and accept it. But here's the part that often gets missed. Security and compliance aren't the same thing. Google secures its infrastructure, and you're still responsible for how you use it. That means your computers, tablets, phones should be password protected. You should have 2-step verification turned on for your Google account. You shouldn't discuss therapy details over email. You'll want a confidentiality statement on your email signature. HIPAA compliance isn't a box that you check once. It's a set of habits that you maintain. Google gives you a secure foundation, and what you build on top of it is up to you. So let's start with the app you will likely use every day, and that's Gmail. One thing to understand up front, I get this question all the time, is Gmail secure? Gmail encrypts email in transit using TLS, Transport Layer Security. But once that email lands in someone's inbox, it's sitting there unopened, it's no longer encrypted. So you do need to be thoughtful about what you put in an email. And you will also want to get consent from your clients about how you're communicating with them. Ask them if they want to receive emails from you, if email communication is okay with them, and you'll want written consent regarding that. If you want an extra layer of protection, there are HIPAA-focused email add-ons, services like MailHippo, Hushmail, ProtonMail, Pawbox. These offer added encryption, but for a monthly fee. They're optional. They're not always required, but it's worth knowing about and looking into if that's going to fit what your practice needs. Now, beyond security, Gmail has features that really do save you time. You can customize your settings, your text style, language, conversation view, whatever fits how you work. You'll set up labels and folders so nothing gets buried in your inbox. You can also build out Gmail templates so you're not retyping the same intake email over and over. This alone is going to save you hours. It's to save me a lot of time. I'll set up Gmail templates. I have my intake forms already linked in those templates. I can go in, add the client information, when their appointment is, etc., and just send the email. It really simplifies things. You can add an email signature with a confidentiality statement and customize different signatures for new emails, replies, and forwards. You can use the schedule send feature so you're not emailing clients at 9 p.m. And you can set up email aliases if you want different addresses, like one for billing, one for general questions, and they all land in the same inbox. Aliases are great also for keeping your inbox organized as well, because it allows for filtering and organizing messages. So Gmail isn't just email. If you set it up well, it's the front door to your entire practice. Next, Google Calendar, and this is where your day actually gets organized. You can set up separate calendars for different parts of your life, clients, personal, admin, each in its own color, so you can see at a glance what kind of day you're looking at. It's automatically integrated with Google Meet, and you can connect it to Zoom too if that's what you prefer to use. You can customize reminders so you're never caught off guard by a session. You can even have your daily agenda emailed to you each morning. And you can add a calendar link to your website so clients can request or book appointments directly, and there's no back and forth required. Just as an aside, allowing clients to self-book, especially that initial consultation session, using a link on your site is fabulous for conversion. When I build out websites for clients and they decide that they do want to implement this, they notice an increase in conversions almost immediately. Clients love the ability to self-book. Some of them don't want to make that initial phone call, at first. So having that option for them is great. So Google Drive, this is really the hub of your paperless office. Everything else connects back to it. You will set up client folders, organize them by color. You can use subfolders in a client folder for things like intake documents, your session notes, reports. I make sure that all of my documents are within some kind of folder system, so there's nothing sort of loose. Everything's in a folder. It helps you really stay organized. You can use Google Docs to write client reports, session notes. If you build templates ahead of time, you can kind of really move quickly through your documentation. So templates are a great thing to build out as well. You can even use voice dictation to write notes, hands-free. Everything gets stored right in that client's folder. You'll also use Drive to create and send your electronic intakes through Google Forms, as I mentioned. You can route these form responses as well to Google Sheets, a linked Google Sheet, and have that in your records as well if you like using Google Sheets. The business starter plan gives you 30 gigabytes of storage, which for a solo practitioner is definitely more than enough to get started with. If you ever need to upgrade, you can do that later, but it is a great place to start. So Google Forms, this does more work than people expect. You can build your form template out for your session notes. If you prefer to take notes for your session, instead of using Google Docs, you can quickly type them into forms using drop downs or checkboxes, however you want to set that up. You can collect the same data every time and track progress over time without reinventing that documentation each session. And again, responses can be routed straight into a Google Sheet if that's what you like to use. If you are using Google Forms and you want to have a PDF auto-generated of those responses, I have built something called an auto PDF generator so that a form that's submitted automatically sends a polished PDF or a Google document right to a Google Drive folder. So you don't have to manually copy or paste anything. It auto-generates this PDF. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So you can create customized intake forms, and the intake forms are really key. And that's one of the things that I use most with Google Forms is for my intake forms. You're going to email those to your new clients, or you can embed those intake forms right on your website if you have a portal built out. And forms can be not just for clinical work, you can use it for your bookkeeping as well. You can track your business expenses and you can feed that data right into the spreadsheet, like I mentioned. I actually built an income and expense tracker in Google Sheets specifically for therapists who want to track their expenses. And again, we'll talk about that later. If you offer teletherapy, Google Meet is already included in your Workspace subscription. So there's no need for a separate platform, no extra cost, no extra login for your clients. It's HIPAA compliant and encrypted. You get screen sharing. You get a unique meeting link for every session. So your clients don't need to download any software. They just click that link. And it's got noise cancellation, hand raising, polls, all the things that you would expect to have with a meeting platform. You can join meetings directly from your calendar. One thing to note, if you need to record your sessions or get transcriptions or set up breakout rooms, that does require upgrading from Business Starter to Business Standard, which runs about $14 a month if you pay it annually. For most therapists, or at least some therapists who are just doing straightforward telehealth sessions, the starter plan might just cover everything you need. Okay, so business phone lines. There's Google Voice if you are interested in getting a business phone line. It's an add-on. It's about $10 a month. It's HIPAA compliant. So you do need to use the paid Google Voice plan, like I said, which is $10 a month. You can get a Google Voice line for free if it's connected to your @Gmail email account, but if you want to use it with your Workspace account, you will need to use the $10 a month plan. So you choose your own number. It works on your smartphone or on the web through the Google Voice app. Calls can forward directly to your cell phone, so you're never tied to a separate device. You get voicemail with automatic transcription. You can read a voicemail instead of listening to it. And you can send text messages as well right through the app. And it's nice because it keeps your personal number completely separate from the business line. It's nice to have those two separate numbers. I've used Google Voice for years now, and I'm very happy with it. So billing. For billing and payments, I personally use Square. Square is a payment processing service. You create a free single user account, and then you only pay the fee when you actually take the payment. It is HIPAA compliant with a BAA in place. A lot of the payment platforms out there do not offer a BAA and therefore should not be used for collecting payments from clients. You can process any credit card, including HSA, FSA cards. You can also do ACH payments, checks, cash, all within the same account. You can also build customizable invoices with your own branding and your own logo, adding any necessary information you might want on an invoice, such as NPI number or tax ID number, whatever you need. I have my Square account set up with different services I provide and associated pricing. So I have input there 45-minute therapy session or initial evaluation. And then I can just click when I'm adding that to an appointment or an invoice. And I've also added insurance codes as what's called modifiers in Square so that I can easily see through dropdown when I have a service selected, I can add those codes for a session so that when I send that invoice out to a client, they have that information on there if they wanted to submit that to insurance. All of the fee schedule is listed here. It's a little different for in-person versus payments that are done online. And compared to a lot of billing services that are built into traditional EHR platforms, I think this is a genuinely competitive rate. Square also handles appointment scheduling too, which we'll get into next. So Square isn't just for payments, it also handles appointments and scheduling, if you want to use that as an alternative to Google Calendar for scheduling. You can build out customer directories. You can use the Square Calendar to schedule client appointments. There are free appointment reminders sent automatically by email and text. So that's a really great feature. And text reminders are not something that Google Calendar does. So if that's something you're really interested in, you might want to explore using Square for your appointments as well. You can add a scheduling button just like you would for Google Calendar right to your website so clients can request or book appointments themselves. And invoices can easily be sent directly from the appointments app right in your calendar right after a session. So there's no extra steps involved. If you want to text or email clients securely using your own voicemail number that Square can give you, that's another paid feature on Square. That's about $10 a month. Their paid tiers also offer marketing campaigns and they sync directly with your Google Calendar so everything stays in one place. So again, these are just a few of their additional features that they offer that are paid. You can look into those if you are interested, or you can just use the free plan. So just bringing all of this together, Google Workspace as an EHR alternative is affordable. It's HIPAA compliant with secure cloud storage, simple to use and learn, and easily customizable to how you actually practice. It's professional, it's paperless, and it coordinates easily with services like Google Voice and Square to cover everything your private practice needs without the enterprise EHR price tag. So if you are intrigued and you're interested and wondering what could your next steps be, where do you go from here? If you're ready to jump in, I do have a few resources that I've created for therapists to help get you set up. We'll put all of these links actually in the description under the video, and I'll just go through a few of these things here now. I have a quick start PDF guide, and that is a comprehensive step-by-step walkthrough for setting up Google Workspace for a therapy practice. So if you'd rather just DIY it, you can get that guide and walk through the setup on your own, step-by-step, walking through all of the details. I have Google intake forms for therapists, which are ready to edit and ready to use intake forms, including consent forms, policies, And I also have forms specific to speech therapy intakes if you're interested in those as well. I have a Google Sheets income and expense tracker, as I mentioned, that helps to keep your finances organized. It's nice. It shows some graphs and things to show your expenses and your income. Simple to use. And as I mentioned, that auto PDF generator, that little piece of code that is added through AppScript to Google Forms, and it turns any form submission into a PDF that's sent to your Drive folder automatically. And I also do website work. So if your website needs updating, or if you need a website and you're looking for someone to design that for you, I do offer website design services. I have a DIY resource also called Website Copy in a Weekend. If you want to write your own website copy, but you feel like you need some guidance and you're not sure how exactly to start or where to go with that, it's a really nice guide that helps you get all of your website copy written. Okay, if you'd rather not do any of this by yourself, I can also help with full service setups. So I do offer full workspace setup services. I can build your account from scratch, organize your Drive, your forms, calendar, Gmail, optimize your security settings. If you already have a system but need it refined, we can do a custom setup plan, tailored workflows, specific things that you need for your practice. We can do Square integration. I can offer website support. And if you just need one specific problem fixed, if you're having trouble with something, we can do just a troubleshooting session, or what I call a power hour, where you get focused one-on-one support to get an issue sorted out quickly without committing to a bigger project. So lots of different ways that I can help you with different issues. Okay, so where can you go from here? You can book a free 20-minute consult with me, a phone consult. I'll put that link as well in the description below the video. You can visit my website, workspacetherapist.com, and you can browse the articles, helpful blog posts I've made, all of the resources and services and products that I offer. You can get those intake forms there, all of the digital products that I mentioned. The setup guide is there. You can also feel free to email me with any questions, kelly@workspacetherapist.com, and I'd be happy to talk with you. Again, you can just also schedule that free 20-minute consult if you'd like. You can book that on the website, or a link again in the description as well. So thank you so much for watching. I would love to help you if you need help or want help. I'd love to help you build a practice management system that actually works for you without the price tag of a traditional EHR. Good luck in your private practice, and I hope to hear from you.